Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the latest episode of South Park, Sons of Witches. And I really enjoyed this episode because it was a nice mashup of just like a typical kind of Halloween episode, but also dealing with like other stuff that's been going on because you can draw some parallels to the witches situation that we got in here in like the Harvey Weinstein situation, but it doesn't like dominate the whole episode. You could be like, oh, this could connect to all kinds of other things. And it just did a really good job of executing on the premise of the whole witches situation that props up in South Park, as well as dealing with Cartman's B storyline with Heidi and just merging them together to make a really good episode. So it starts off actually, we see that the opening for the South Park, going down to South Park and everything, is all Halloween themed as well. I kind of really like that. So we actually get into the episode, and we see these guys dressed as witches driving around in a car with I Want Candy blaring on the radio as they're singing along to it. We can see Kyle's dad and Kenny's dad are in there, and then they're like picking up other guys, and they're like, all right, they pick them up and it's like, oh, you got a nice cape this year and everything. Yeah, it's a real cape. It's like, all right, let's go to it. And then we see Randy getting dressed up as a witch and everything, and he's like asking Sharon where his box of Jack Daniels is. And Sharon's like, you're not really doing this again, are you? He's like, of course I am. Because Stan wanted to be taken to the pumpkin patch, and he's like, listen, it's the week leading up to Halloween. We gotta do our witch party week with the guys. And he's like, you get wasted, man. And it's like, listen, we just had drinks. The other guys' wives aren't being a bitch about it. And, of course, they pull up to the house. Randy's able to get out with his box of Jack. And he's like, so, witches? And he's like, all right, I got the Jack Daniels. You guys got the other stuff? Yeah. He's like, we got the other stuff as well. So, then we switch off to Cartman's storyline. And he is in Heidi's room. He's like, come on, come on. He's really agitated. And I think this was a really good way to explore another facet of a relationship that Cartman just hates so much. And this is Heidi going through all this stuff, and it's just taking her so much time. She has no concept really of time management. He's like, I wanted to get to the pumpkin patch early. It opened an hour ago, and she's asking about like all this stuff like, oh, does this go with my outfit? Let's just use the spider or the bat. And he's like, use whatever. And just seeing Cartman's expressions as he's barely trying to contain, like, the rage that is seething within him. He's like, that's fine, it's fine. Just do this. It's fine. The spider's great. Oh, really? Because I really like the bat. It's like, why don't you do this every time? And he's like, what, baby? And he's like, oh, I said, boy, look at the time. Okay, all set. And they're gonna go. And she's like, oh, I forgot my glitter lip gloss. And Cartman's like, Jesus, you don't need the glitter lip gloss. And she's like, Eric, are you upset? You need to talk about something? He's like, no, don't need to talk. I'm super happy. And he like looks afraid and scared. She's like, oh, okay. Hang on, I gotta go pee. And he's like, cool, gotta go pee again. Awesome. And it's just seeing him trying to deal with this is like, oh my god. So of course, we then get to Randy and the guys, and they get up to this kind of like park, and some of the guys are like, oh, thought you were going to bail on us or something. It's like, uh, yeah, right. It's the first night of the party and everything. We see, like, the different kind of beers. They got John Adams beer and all that. And he's talking to this, like, Steven and Chip. And, like, all right, time for Jack and Crack weekend. Let's do this. So they go up the hill singing, everybody have fun tonight. Doing their own kind of, like, version of it about, like, doing Jack Daniels and crack. And it's like, Jesus, it's just, they're frat boys who aren't in a frat. Well, they're technically still in a frat if they dress up as witches and everything, but it's like these old frat guys doing frat things, just going out into the woods, doing Jack and crack. It's like, okay, let's see where this goes. So then we get to Cartman's mom talking to Heidi's parents. They're thanking her for taking them to the pumpkin patch and everything, and they're saying how Heidi's been looking forward to it. And it's interesting that this is the first time we get to see Heidi's parents. Nothing much is really done with them. Hopefully we get something later on with them kind of like brought in, because I think that'd be an interesting angle to use with Cartman's like frustration with the relationship. because he's like, oh, come on, let's go, come on. Because we learned that this is one of Cartman's favorite events of the year from his mom, and he's like, come on, let's do this. And then, of course, the mom says that Heidi looks cute, and they gotta take a picture, and of course he's like, yeah, take a picture, So, of course, they're taking it, he's like, alright, come on, and Cartman, like, goes out the door, Heidi's still saying goodbye to her parents and everything, and she's like, oh, I forgot my bracelet, and Cartman's just like, oh my god! And he's like, oh my fucking god! And then, of course, Cartman's mom's like, potty mouth! And then Cartman just going, ah! And just seeing him unleash that frustration, it's just like, yeah. Seeing Cartman having to deal with this, it's like, okay. Seeing Cartman rage is pretty funny, because when it's in a scenario that he doesn't understand exactly how to deal with it at first, is interesting because you're, alright, where's this going to reach its peak, and where is he going to try and figure out how to deal with this scenario? So, of course, we then get to the witches. They're around a fire. They're chanting, like, putting a spell on their bosses and their wives, and then, like, a hex on the Patriots, because they want to fuck up their lives. And Randy's like, yeah, screw the Raiders, too. And everybody's like, yeah, screw the Raiders. And we see Steven, which is Butter's dad, on a broom, and he's like, ooh, happy Witches Week, and then he falls off, and then, this one dude, Chip, comes up, it's like, hey, you guys want to, like, see real witchcraft? I'm like, ooh. And, I mean it, I got this spell book last month. I got it from Salem, Massachusetts. It's real. And it's like, how do you know it's real? It's from the devil himself. And then you hear thunder and everything, and they're like, ooh, okay, let's see how this goes. So we get to Cartman, and then pulling up to the pumpkin patch. His mother has barely stopped the car. Well, he jumps out before it's even come to a full stop. Now he's like, oh, wait up, babe. And then he's just, like, still trying to contain it. Of course, they're holding hands. We see Butters and other kids coming out. Butters like, hey, where you been, Eric? Yeah, it's a great time. Really had a good time in there. And then we get up to the dude, and he's like, oh, yeah, you can go in, but the petting zoo's closed, and they probably shut down the trail machine. And Cartman's just pissed. He's like, well, if you hurry, you can probably get to the bouncy house. And Heidi's like, come on, babe. And it's just like, yeah, Cartman ain't gonna deal with that. So we get back to the boys doing their witches thing. We see Chip doing the stuff with the spell, and stuff really starts happening. The book starts to glow from the pages, and his face starts changing. He's like, whoa. And he's like, it burns. It's like, okay, Chip. Electricity's like going on around him and everything. And everybody's like, dude, you should ease up on the crack, buddy. And then he drops the book and transforms into a witch, grabs a broom with his mind, starts laughing and flies away. And they're like, oh shit. And of course, we then see this parent-teacher conference thing going on, the parents coming out. We see Chip flying around saying he's going to kill you all, and we see a community fundraiser as well. And then he starts throwing flaming pumpkin bombs, just wow, almost kind of like the Green Goblin from Spider-Man, and just fucking going at people, throwing them at cars. Everybody's like running and freaking out. He's like, "You're all going to be dead by Halloween," and we also see like Heidi and Cartman, dude, everyone, what's that? What does it mean? We just got here. There's a witch setting, like, killing people and everything. And then Chip comes and throws it and starts setting the pumpkin patch on fire. And Heidi's like, come on, Eric. And he's like, no, I missed all of it. And then Chip grabs a kid and flies off. And then we cut to the next day, and we see Randy coming down the stairs, and Sharon's like, oh, do you remember anything from last night? He's like drinking from a jug of fruit punch. He's like, didn't see you there. And no, what happened? Chip Duncan flew on a broom, showing like the photos, like blowing up things and kidnapping children. He's like, are you serious? I heard nothing about this. Yeah, he flew away vowing that we'd all be dead by Halloween. And he's like, God, I knew that guy was a fucking chode. And it's like, yeah, oh God. And I'm like, what did you do at the party? Nothing, you're just hanging out, talking. Chip got weird. People got hurt. Agreement is awful. We're not like Chip. Chip's a bad witch. So, of course, then we get to the cafeteria, and we see all the kids are kind of freaking out because Chip's going after them, pretty much. Kidnapping children and all that. Like, Jesus Christ. So, of course, we see, like, Kyle, like, did any of you guys see the witch? It was, like, terrifying and all that. We see him talking about it, and I was like, yeah, I don't think they're gonna let us do trick or treat and everything. And while they're like talking about what's going on because they're saying we need to take this into our own hands. At first they're saying maybe the police will do something about it. We see Cartman with this hate-filled look on his face, super pissed, and he's looking at Heidi, and she like waves at him, and she doesn't even get it, and he's like waves back at her, and of course they get to a point where they're talking about it, and they're like, well, we gotta do something about her. And he's like, what? Oh yeah, I can help with that. Yeah, we need to get rid of her. He's like, yes, you're right. It's my only way out. And he thinks they're talking about Heidi, not about the witch. So we then get back to Randy, sees Sharon going out, got the Battle of Jack and everything, day 2 of the Witches Week with the guys. And she's like, you can't actually consider doing this. There's like a real witch flying around snatching children. I don't think it's the best time to wear a witch costume and be partying. Which, of course, is like a no-brain thing. But, of course, this is Randy and the rest of the guys in South Park. So, yeah, they want to do their stupid stuff. So, of course, he's like, dude, just because of one bad witch, we can't stop a tradition that goes back like 20-some-odd years. It's like, yeah, I mean, weird shit goes on in South Park, and it's usually can sometimes be boring, so I can see why these people would do this to essentially make a frat and just keep it going forever. So, of course, he's like, Jesus leaves, gets in the car, everybody in there's like, damn, everybody's shitting on being witches. And it's like, one awful one, kill it for everybody. And they're like trying to think of what is happening. It's like a witch pursuit thing. And I kind of like how they're like pretty much alluding to, oh yeah, it could be a witch hunt, but they just don't use witch hunt. And just seeing them just like, it's a witch pursuit thing. I was like, yeah, but there's only one problem in this scenario. In South Park, there's only one real flying around witch. If you just taken 2 seconds to be like, yo, we gotta keep our party on hold until we get this situation resolved. Yeah. So you kind of have to think about what's going on a little bit. So, of course, they're trying to meet the others. They get up, and the park is closed because, there's a witch flying around snatching children and blowing shit up. So, of course, they'd be like, let's not have people walking around there. So, they're pissed off about that. They're trying to figure out what to do. It's like, So, of course, we see Chip flying around, throwing more stuff, stealing more children. Kind of like, alright, check this out, guys. The way to destroy a witch, you need bent pits. 9 in all, each bent in L shape. And everybody's like, what are bent pits? I'm like, okay. So then Cartman gets in, he's like, I think I got this figured out. And they're like, we knew you'd come up with a plan, because whenever they need to kill something, essentially, Cartman's their go-to guy. He is the savant of that shit. So, of course, he's like, we need a really scary place. Ross dressed for less. And he then proceeds to go through his whole plan to take Heidi there to deal with her. Now, granted, we don't get through the complete thing. He even brought a poster board that he had outlined everything, talking about how he'd get her there. Stan and Kyle would wait inside. I'd bring her in. Kenny and Butters would, like, set off stuff. And everybody's like, what are you talking about? Nobody wants to get rid of Heidi. We're talking about getting rid of the witch. And he's like, listen, I'm in a living hell right now. And Kyle's like, why don't you break up with her? And if you can't stand her, let the poor girl go. And he's like, I tried. It's impossible. And Kyle's like, she's a nice girl. And you're so awful to her. I don't understand it. And it's like, she has no time management skills whatsoever. And you wouldn't know about this because you've never had a girlfriend, Kyle. And fine. If you want to leave me to suffer, that's fine. Next time you want me to kill somebody, just forget about it. It's like, shit. Cartman laying down the law with that is like, holy crap. So he leaves. So we get to the school, and of course, we see that the mayor is talking about how everybody's concerned about the witch. And it's a whole student-parent thing going on. It's like, well, we got some gentlemen who want to speak of a perceived witch pursuit thingy. Randy and the guys getting up, pretty much doing a little song thing. And, like, Kyle, Stan, Kenny, and Butters are just, like, freaked. And it's like, oh, there's good and bad witches. We stay with you guys. Not with the bad witches. And, we just need to take down this particular witch. We don't need to close the parks. We, of course, going into, like, the whole witch pursuit thingy. And Kyle's like, Dad, get out of here. We need to deal with the actual witch. Nobody's coming after you. And he's like, yes, they are. And next they'll come after you, all you little sons of witches. And they like look at each other like, the fuck? And talking about like not having to worry and about like what the you don't have to worry about like what the other witches do and all that kind of stuff. And then Cartman gets the idea because he looks at Heidi. It's like, oh, they're talking about how the witch like does all these other things that they don't kind of really do. And he like gets this idea that okay, I could pretty much get the witch to take Heidi. It's like, oh shit. So of course we get to Cartman in the hallway. And he's talking to Heidi like, okay, we got this costume party. I've got our costumes picked out. How about I come over at 5 to pick you up? And of course, we see Cartman's planning details in motion. We see that she's like, oh, why don't you come over around 4:30 so we can get ready and everything. He's like, oh, I'm planning on it. And it's like, oh, Jesus. And Randy is like, okay. He's just in his house. And of course, Steven comes in, wants to talk to him and all that. He's like, I gotta come clean about the crack and the spells against the wives and all that. And Randy's like, dude, you're freaked out. It's understandable. We don't need to do this. He's like, we can't have everything crashing down around us. And I want her to hear it from me first. Smoked a little crack, harmless spells on the wives, just messing around. Harmless fun. Close eyes to what Chip was becoming, and, like, we can't turn on our own kind. And, of course, Steven doesn't, he's like, listen, I'm doing it. I'm gonna do it tomorrow morning. And then, of course, Randy calls and says, okay, we gotta sacrifice Steven to the devil. It's like, shit. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. So, of course, because they don't wanna, stop doing their stuff. And he's like, oh, okay, I'll explain when we get there. We'll get together. Maybe bring a little bit of crack. It's like, Jesus. So, of course, we then see Cartman's plan in motion. What was his plan, might you ask? Okay, wait till late and go through the woods and have them both dressed up as Hansel and Gretel. He is a devious little bastard, and he is a genius. So, she's freaked out. It's like, this is kind of weird. He's like, well, this is the fastest way to the party. Of course, being passive-aggressive about, well, if we'd been on time, we wouldn't need to take this shortcut. And she's, of course, like, are you mad about the pumpkin patch? She's like, why would I be mad? And then, of course, you have to, check on your looks and then eat and go to the bathroom 40 times. Of course, she's like, I never went to the bathroom 40 times. And then they hear the evil laughter. They're kind of freaked out. And then when Heidi looks, Eric's gone. It's like, oh, shit. Did the plan backfire on Eric? But no, we then see that he's hiding behind a log, and the witch comes and takes Heidi, and he's like, oh, God. So we get to Stan and the guys. They're like, dude, Dad's home. I don't know where it is. They're trying to figure out, what to do, because they're trying to figure out how to, stop them from doing something even stupider. Because they're like, all of the dads are gone, and they're like, they asked their moms, and we gotta find them before they do anything that's stupider, and, okay, we gotta find out what happens, how to get in touch with them, we gotta stop them. It's like, well, there was another guy that was in the witches group, but, he hasn't been around in a while. Who might that be? We then cut to the White House, and we see that Garrison was one of them. One of his aides comes in and is like, Mr. President, we've got an urgent call from Butterscotch. And Garrison's dressed like a witch. He's like, what do they want? So he picks it up. We get the guys pretty much talking on the phone because they gotta stop the dads from doing whatever stupid stuff that they could continue to do to make the situation even worse. So he's talking to Garrison, trying to butter him up, asking about how his immigrants thing's going and how getting rid of all the immigrants, saying that he got rid of 6 so far, and then asking about the wall. He's like, don't be a dick, Butters. You're calling this shit on my Halloween. He's like, no, sir, I didn't call you for that. We just want to know about the Witches Week. He's like, yeah, it was favorite time of year. And he's looking back. He now has to celebrate alone. He's got a picture and everything. And he's like, listen, the guys did a spell thing, and now one of them is taking the children and all that stuff. He's like, oh, let me guess, Chip Duncan. Yeah, that guy was a douche. So we kind of need your help. And he's like, the dads are scared that people are after him, that they're all witches. And he's like, oh, geez. So then we get to the Park County police station, and Cartman's pretty much talking about to the police about how his girlfriend was taken by one of the witches. It's like, and even getting a dig of like, well, what was she wearing and everything? It's like, oh, a simple Munich Dirndl from Germany. And this one dude's like, didn't you stop what you're doing to figure out if you were like attracting the witch? And it's like, it's funny because Cartman's like, are you victim blaming and all that stuff? When in actuality, he was essentially baiting the witch to take his girlfriend. I just love how they dealt with that situation. Like, Cartman was essentially trying to set up the best bait possible. Children alone in the woods. Now, granted, I think he put his own flair on it since he usually likes German things going for the Hansel and Gretel route. But it was just funny seeing like the detective dude going with Cartman being like, dude, not cool. And then they even looked at the camera saying, sorry, and like looking at the audience and the Cartman saying, I will have your badge, sir, for it. It was like, oh god, I just love it. So of course, they're like talking on that and they get a detective. He's like, dude, somebody's calling in, witches spotted at Ross's Trash for Less. It's like, oh shit, what's gonna be going on there? So they see that, they're like, okay, what's going to be going on with that? We see Steven go to the Rosses, the guys are there. They're essentially going to call him out as the witch, the bad witch. And it's like, wait a minute, you turned this whole witch pursuit thingy into a witch pursuit thingy against me. Seeing how they turned them and them trying to deliver Steven to everybody. Cops coming in, Cartman coming in, and of course they're like, oh Jesus. It's like, no, it wasn't me. And then, of course, we get Laughter coming in. We see Chip come in. He's like, what's up, bros? And he's actually has some kind of sense. And he's like, dude, did you see the chaos you caused? Yeah, I'm a witch. Yeah, they associate us with you. And of course they do. And they're like, Jesus, we're not like you. What'd you do with the children? Oh, see here? And then he pulls out this bag and you see this light. It's like, yeah, I'm using their souls to increase my power. And it's like, sweet Jesus. And then they're like, look, another witch is flying down right now. And then you see Air Force One and you see Garrison coming in. It's like, oh god. And like, oh Jesus, what's going on? You're during the sacrifice of witch. So the bad witch showed up. And they're like, we get the fighters, and the guys are like, listen, we gotta go. Our witches were trying to sacrifice your witch, and then the bad witch showed up, and then our witch, which we called, just arrived. And Butter's like, oh, jeez. So, of course, they go off to see what's going on with it. And, of course, they're like, listen, we really shouldn't have had him hang out with us. Man, Chip's trying to, like, defend himself. He's like, listen, if you had this kind of power, you'd be doing the same thing I would. And no, I wouldn't. And then Garrison comes up to Chip. What the fuck are you doing? And he's like, hey, man, you ruined the party for everyone. And listen, I'll just become more powerful by the moment. Nobody can really stop me. So he's like, just crazy. He's like, all right, I'll show you real power. He's like, nobody will be able to stop me with my witch powers now. I'll show you real power. And then he goes into his little pen. He's like, take the shot. And they're like, okay, he's probably got a sniper on him or something. No, this is South Park. You gotta go a little bit bigger than that. So it goes out to a satellite, powers up, and lasers the fuck out of Chip. Oof. Luckily, the bag is okay. And, of course, everyone's like, oh, okay, we're alright now. And then they let the police go up, they open the bag, kids start popping out. Who's the last one in there? Heidi. And she's like, oh, just take a second and everything. It's like, oh, alright. Then, of course, the other witches go off with Garrison's like, yeah, I'm going to party with El Presidente. And it's like, okay. So they're going to go continue doing what they're going to do. The kids are popping out. And Cartman's like, yeah, it's going to take a couple hours. It's like, oh, let me get my lip gloss and everything. And just, like, saying all the things that she needs to do to take it out. It's like, oh, my God. It was just really great. Just seeing like how Chip was like, "I've got all the power now," and like, "You got a power," and then Garrison pulls out the fucking satellite laser, fucking dusts his ass, just like perfect. It was just a really good way of just fun, silly, weird ass South Park that like was able to connect with real world events, but not so much that it overtook the episode, while giving us another straw that's breaking Cartman's back with this whole relationship. So I'm really interested to see how he's going to extricate himself from this. So those are my opinions on the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.